What is good, y'all? SGG Game, man. It's your boy SmooveGotGame back with another Pittsburgh Pirates rebuild video, baby. And today we are getting into another draft. Hopefully a good all-star weekend. The team is a lot better than we've seen before. We're 3 games above 500 right now. We're kind of in a little bit of a slump. Hopefully it doesn't affect all-star weekend for us, though, because I feel like we could have a good run at a couple of different guys that should be all-stars. So if you guys are ready to see the video, hit it with a like, comment, and subscribe on your way in to show that support. And quickly jumping in, I just want to highlight some of our younger prospects here. Aiden Takutatu. We traded for him in the offseason as a young starting pitcher prospect, and he's been doing great at the AA level. He might be seeing that AAA call up here soon and probably replace somebody like Thomas Harrington here, who's been doing pretty bad at 4.96 ERAs. It's the same overall and see potential, a little bit older. So maybe could be seeing that position swap as well as a boost here in the lineup. Moving rookie Rob Key to the 1 spot, switching Cortez and O'Neill as the 5 and 6 hitters. We're trying to do this to get our best on-base guy at the 1 spot at all times to set things up for Brian, Pete, and Anthony there through 3 and 4, and then hope Cortez and O'Neill actually can re-spark the lineup there after we get everything cleaned up. So here with the last game against the Rangers, I wanted to go ahead and get a Showtime event here, as we haven't seen this one yet. Oh, look at that slow motion dive. Get up, fire to the base pass. Oh, we got to hit the button combos. I need that. I haven't seen that event show up yet, but we haven't played too much infield defensively. But that was really nice. Good play by Rob Key. But this is the last game in the Rangers series, so I thought we'd go ahead and get a little bit of gameplay in here before we get into the draft and All-Star weekend for us. And why not go ahead and go with the rookie, who's now boosted his way up to the 1 spot in the lineup from on the bench, from getting drafted to having a great spring, to being put on the bench, to making the starting lineup just because Johnson was struggling, to now actually hitting in the lead-off spot, moving all the way up from 8 in the lineup to number 1, with how well he's been able to get on base and hit the ball and really see it very well. You see there, good timing, just kind of underneath it there against Tyler Mahaley. And then this is getting hit out to left field. This will go in and hit up against the wall. This is going to be an easy double for us, as the throw is going to come into second anyway, and we slide in ahead of the tag. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, too. Maley, something along those lines. But he does get the ground ball here, and we're just kind of playing back and forth. I remember back in the day, they used to just throw straight over to first. I got to get out of that. They actually are a lot smarter now. So they just went up and tagged me, heading over to third. And here we are losing the game, actually, down 3-1. Norman Garcia is in the ball game trying to close this one out heading into the 9th. But we do have a runner at first base. Looks like that could be Henry Davis there with the 72 speed, 8 steal. I really get good at looking at players' speed and steals and figuring out who's on base, especially on these player lock games like this. But that will be a fly ball out there for Rob Key, getting the first out here in the 8th inning. As we already were down 3-1, we ended up losing this game by that score too as well. So heading into the All-Star break on a losing streak here, only 2 games above 500, only able to muster up 4 hits as a team, and we got 1 of them. RBI came away with Pete Alonso, his 57th of the season, and Mitch Keller. He had a pretty good start, 6 innings, 3 earned. Just got to get more offense there to kind of spark that up for us. Now, of course, here we had a series against the Rays. Actually, I don't know why I thought we were right before the All-Star game. We do have a series here against the Rays. We actually win game 1 here, 3-1. Paul, great start here, 6 2/3, only giving me a 1-earned run. The bullpen actually playing strong. We won game 2, 6-2. Here's 8 hits as a full team here. 2 hits from Davis and Pete there for us. And then Jackson Wolf getting a great start, only allowing 1 earned run with 6 innings. And then Johan Oviedo, who got moved back to the long relief role, coming in and having good relief work. And then we lost the game here in game 3 by a very bad score of 7-3 here. Jared Jones, good start. Just the bullpen kind of blew it. And then we got the first game in the Brewer series where we actually lose 2-13. And it's just becoming all bad here. It's mostly just the bullpen here. You see 4 runs given up by Lucas Sims. 6 in total by our bullpen, which leaves us going into the futures game because we want to forget about that first half. The first half ended bad. Let's go ahead and focus on the positives, and what we have positively going for us here is technically 2, because I drafted 2. Just only one of them is actually still on the current team. But future game participants there, you see Satchel, the third baseman prospect that we had that we traded for our starting pitcher, actually ends up making this game here. He's doing great at the AA level. I think he had him at only a 51 overall, but he's playing good, and the ratings are going up for him actually playing. And Herbert Bill, who's seen phenomenal growth since we drafted him back in the first draft here in the series. He's been playing great at the AA and AAA level, and who knows how long he's got till he's at the show. Maybe even a spring training invite for next season could be in his future. Now here in his first at bat, he's facing off against Kurt Rosen, a highly valued prospect on the AL side as he works their way to a full count here in the first inning. 3-2. As that'll be taken off the side there. Sinker missing. Go in and walk his way over to first base. We have 2 outs though, so we can try to see if we can pull together some runs here. We obviously don't care too much if we win or lose. We're just kind of here to face off with Herbert Bill and see what he's kind of got here in the tank for him. Now in the second at bat, he's in a 2-2 count as he's trying to work himself. Maybe another walk here. That's exactly what he does. Curveball low and away, misses, not even close. So he's going to go ahead and get his chance to go ahead and walk on over to first base yet again. And yeah, Herbert Bill, first overall pick in the whole series. As you see, they try to pick off move, and it will work as they caught my boy lacking. But we picked him up with the 9th pick. He was drafted at 66 overall. So far this season, I believe he's at a 75. I want to say either 75 or 76 overall. So, I mean, he's seen almost a 10 overall point boost in just about a year, 2 years, 2.5 years. So, definitely seeing phenomenal improvement and could be taking over that alpha spot, which obviously we now drastically need a center fielder because Pete Armstrong is playing terribly out there. Now, Herbert does have the speed to go out there with the 80 level speed. One thing I think he's missing is the arm strength and arm accuracy to be kind of like a center fielder. That's why we have him here listed in left field, because that's where I can kind of see him playing. But that was also with the plan of Pete actually working out at center and being a good center infielder or center fielder for us, which he is defensively, just not with his bat. So we'll have to see how that plays out. See if maybe we find any prospects that are good here in this draft as we go in and fill up that draft board with, as you can see, yes, a lot of starting pitchers here with the top options. Daisuke Kai from Japan. 100% scouted, 85 to 97 potential, ranked number 1 on our board on the MLB board. So I don't know how likely it is he'll be there. Tom Ju from South Korea, 2nd on our board, is a very good starting pitcher. And a lot of these guys have things that I like. They have high stamina. The walks per 9 is in a good area. Hits per 9 is good because you see we struggle with giving up a lot of hits. And one thing I was looking at too as well was the pitch control. You see guys like Francisco Cabrera there. He's got good pitch control. Yasniel Garcia is our first position player that we put up here on the board. He's got good contact and good speed. Back to the pitchers here at number 9, Ray Schultz is the guy that should be projected to go to us by our board. Now, by the MLB board, it'd be Francisco Velez, who is number 9 on theirs, but 14 on ours. So we'll have to see who ends up falling down to the number 9 spot. Will I get a chance at one of these starters? Will I have to go with second baseman Yasniel Garcia? Who knows? I put him on there just for the purpose of possibly having to get a position player. And he actually ends up going number 1 overall to our division rivals yet again. The Brewers have been a pain in the behind when it comes to these drafts. I think they've stolen most of my draft picks that I've actually wanted. Not just on my board, but actually wanted draft picks. And then here goes Preston Drake getting drafted, I think, for the 2nd time in this series. And I think 2nd time top 3 too, as the Giants now pick him up. We did have him a little bit scouted. He was number 1 on the MLB board. He went back, obviously, to school for 2 more years. So I like to see that he finally got drafted. And then Christopher White, 27th on our board, 6th on the MLB board, goes number 3 to the Blue Jays. Must have saw something they liked, but fully scouted here. He looks like he's going to be a B potential prospect. I mean, unless he's like a low level A, that's either 90 or 91. And then coming in close to our pick, you can see Daisuke, Francisco Velez all end up getting taken. So that's 3 of our top options there at starting pitcher. I would love probably Daisuke Kai the most as a starting pitcher for us to take in there. I was surprised with Rutledge being 28th on the board and very far back that he's actually taken up here in the top 10. But now we're kind of deciding between Tom Ju and Jeff Curry. And after looking at both of these guys' ratings, I just felt like the hits per 9 boost that I was getting here was better and worth it. His control and velo is lower, but Tom does look like a better overall prospect because he's not going to be giving up hits like that. His strikeout numbers is a little bit dipped, but his walks are better, home runs are better. And then as far as the pitches they both throw, both of them have a 5-pitch mix. Pretty even there in that aspect, but I am taking the boost there with the hit per 9, going hit per 9 over the control here, and going with Tom Ju. Also looking at the potential rating from 82 to 98. I got to go with that. Jeff Curry ends up going the pick right after him, as well as do a couple other guys that we had eyes on. Michael Suzuki at first base going 14 to the Mets. I had eyes on Sidney Swigginum to the Royals at 11. I had eyes on Chris Prado ends up going to the White Sox there. We had eyes on him too as well. Looking through our board to see what's left, because we have 3 first-round picks, and actually one of them is about to come up as we lose out on Fred O'Leary here at second base. We got to try to figure out what we're doing with this next pick, as we are on the clock here. And I could go with a position player, Emilio Pereira, Kyle McCoy, Diego Nunez, but all those guys have really far pushbacks on their MLB and on our board. So it makes me want to go with another starting pitcher here, number 7 on our board, and David Nunez. And then here with the 3rd pick in the first round, we're going to actually go ahead and triple up here on starting pitcher and get another one in Mike Gallegos, who is not ranked in 32nd on our board. So getting him a little bit higher than projection at a 90 to 95 window. So he's going to be a guaranteed A potential prospect. And then here for the second round, we're finally going with our first position player with Kyle McCoy. Very good fielder, very good with contact. So it'll be somebody to be strong and look out for. Going to be a C prospect, but could be MLB ready to take over in the outfield spot, which is what we need. Guys that are MLB ready, because this team is almost ready to go ahead and go take off for a World Series. So we're going to need more guys like that. And then Diego Nunez, we're actually able to end up waiting back into the 3rd round to pick him up. A solid prospect. Should even come in with a solid overall as well, as he's a good defender. Doesn't really play 3rd like I would have wanted him to, because that's what I was looking at those infield spots to do. Somebody come in and play 3rd for Brian Hayes. Who knows? Maybe I can get somebody else that's already on the team to go ahead and play that spot if he keeps declining, or just look at 3rd base in free agency. Now here in the 4th round, you see we've been drafted so long, the dual shock is starting to die a little bit, but we started to run out of people on our board, so we're kind of guessing here at this point. We actually go with Pedro Garcia, one of our last fully scouted good prospects here, 73 to 83 on his potential. See, round 5, we only got 1 guy left on our board. That's Willie Smith, 70% scouted, so not even all the way. He's going to be a C prospect, but he was pretty strong in his defense. And here with the last pick, I ended up just kind of looking through whoever's left and kind of just basically going off potential here. We do have him fully scouted, so I felt pretty comfortable about this pick here, though. From non-ranked to 20th on our board, 79 to 95, we get Ernest Munoz. So I ended up taking 4 different starting pitchers in this draft. It was a draft full of starting pitchers, and David Nunez has an injury that's going to affect his long-term potential and current overall rating. That's great. How I draft somebody injury prone already. That is just great. That's exactly what you want to see. One of your guys get injured. I'm glad we drafted 4 of them, because one of them looks like he'll be ineffective. Now, we'll get into All-Star Weekend, getting the win against the Brewers there in Game 3. We don't have anybody in the home run derby, as both of our guys end up being tied for 6th there with the home run lead. So they were just on the outside looking in. And as far as the All-Star game, the only person that we actually ended up having, surprisingly, despite all the good play that I think we've had this season, was Henry Davis at catcher. Batting .272, 15 home runs, 41 RBIs, somehow ends up being catcher number 2 to be placed in the All-Star game. So, of course, we simulate past it with not even a starter going through it. But, of course, we're getting a couple more trade offers here for Jordan Hicks, who's finally turned the season around. So, I'm actually going to start to leave those alone more often than not. And now we're going to focus on the signing period, because the only thing that's left here to do is we want to get these guys all completely signed up, so that way we can see what their overalls are and see how good these prospects are. So Tom Jew here in the first round of negotiations ends up declining his offer. We do sign Mike Gallegos though, so he's back, and Kyle McCoy declines his. Pedro Garcia declines his as well. Almost everybody had almost at 100% and good interest, so we're just going to offer as many times as we can here. In the next round of signings, 2 days later, Tom Jew finally accepts his offer. Kyle McCoy, trying to play around with the numbers a little bit, he accepts his, so that's 3 down. Pedro Garcia, make that 4 down as we get yet another signing to us. Ernest Munoz has signed now too as well. We're going to bring him to the squad. We only have 3 guys left with 10 days left to sign, so we're going to jump on these last few after we got them fully scouted. Nunez says no, Willie Smith says no, and David signs with us. So we did us down to our last 2 here. Just kind of continuously working basically the same deals, just upping their interest as they're obviously the only ones left scouted. Willie Smith goes in and signs his. And right before we actually get to go in to sign our last attempt here, Nestor Cortez Jr. shirts his shoulder, tears it, and is out for 2 to 3 months. So Johan Oviedo forced back into the starting rotation, which, I mean, it's still a good thing. He's still got a good ERA, but now I'm missing my ace all the way until potentially the postseason. 2 to 3 months would put us right at the start of the postseason, right in the last week of the season. So that's with the 60-day DL. So now we got to make it work with the pitching staff that we do have. And you can see we're blowing games like this. Leclerc getting another blown save, his 7th of the season, which is a career high for him. You know, he's never blown that many saves before. I mean, innings pitched are even close to where he was last year. He's given up almost as many earned runs last year, and then the same amount as 2 years ago, which makes me glad that we have this 20-year-old flamethrower of a lefty down here at AAA ready to take that spot should we need to move on in the next year or so. Now, of course, after All-Star Weekend, we win the series against the Padres and Cubs, lose the series with Cleveland, so we're on a 2-game losing streak here, heading into a 3-game set against the Cardinals, who are actually 2 games better than us in the division now. So this is going to be a very important season. We're getting down to the end of it. We do have our very last series of the season against the Cardinals. So don't worry. This will not be the last time that we probably see this team. I can see this very much so coming down to that last series, deciding who's taking a wild card spot and who's taking the division. But I think that both of our teams will make the postseason. Of course, as long as the Cardinals don't fall off. Now, of course, we're going to have to do this against Zach Eflin, though. A pretty good starter for them. As we go ahead and look into this game with Lee Oliver Perguero now in the leadoff role here. Of course, we're constantly adjusting lineup up and down as we're seeing different guys perform better, on bases get better. I need to find a good leadoff guy because we need to constantly have this guy getting on base if possible, as this was popped out to left and it'll be gloved in. So, of course, we're going to get into this full game here. This is game number 1 of the series. We'll player lock the last 2 as we want to see how all 3 of these games go for the Pirates. And so far, it is not starting out too well as we get 2 back-to-back ground balls. And then Pete Alonso up next will swing through the sinker. And that'll be the way the inning ends. Paul Skeens will now be up to bat for, or up to pitch for us. 4.07 ERA has been inconsistent, but it started to lower that thing down a little bit with a couple good starts back-to-back. And we're looking to have a very good game from him here. And we can actually drop it below 4 for the first time this season. Got to go against this Cardinals lineup that we have seen a couple times already. You know, this year we have focused on them quite a bit. Haven't played too many other opponents that aren't division opponents this season. And that's because it's been a tight race. If we were more so in the lead, if we had a little bit of a gap, if we had some breathing room, we would probably play games against other high-level playoff teams. But because we don't even know how good we are ourselves inside our own division yet, oh yeah, you best believe we're focusing on these division opponents. So let me know down below too, draft grades, since we did make our way through it. What do you guys think? You know, before obviously seeing the overalls and everything, how do you guys feel about that draft? Do you think it was smart to take 4 starting pitchers in one draft with the way the team looks right now? Like, let me tell you though, third base was absolutely pitiful as far as prospects. I scouted almost all of them. None of them looked like they had potential, at least in the ways that I wanted them to. I looked at other positions, second and shortstop, and even a little first base. The only guys that I found of interest in those spots, you saw got took, Michael Suzuki, Pete Drake, Yusniel Garcia. As that throw is beautiful. Brian Hayes, if it weren't for his bats, would still be this team's third baseman because those throws at third base, we need them. I need to find a third baseman that can play some defense because that was amazing. You know, lead things up here to Anthony Santander in the second inning, though, as we go ahead and reach liftoff as that ball is lined up out of here. A low-flying cannonball out to right field. His team leading 26th home run of the season. Anthony Santander is out of here. And this is why we need to get in this window while we have both of these guys, man. We don't know how much longer we got these power hitters on the roster or how much longer they're going to keep giving us, you know, these 30 home run seasons. We are good in the corner, or at least one side of the corner. Now we got to worry about the other side, that this one is hit too as Cortez flies this one out to left. And it's not even because his bat is bad, but Reynolds is getting older. I mean, he's 31 now. He'll be 32 next season. And we got to kind of hope that he can actually have another season like this. This is a career year for him this year. So that's why things are kind of lining up beautifully to handle this if we can. As Hayes will come up with that runner on first base and swing through the inside sinker. Leading to Pete Crow Armstrong with 9 stolen bases, tied on the team with the man that's actually on first right now, O'Neal Cruz. As he's been not getting on base so much that his stolen base numbers are pitiful. You wouldn't expect somebody with 99 speed to have less than double-digit steals this late in the season. But he sure does. That throw will pull the runner off the bag, and everybody's safe on place. We'll take the E5 when we can get them, as now to leave it up to Henry Davis to have runners in first and second and a chance to increase this lead past 1. The former leadoff batter turned 9 hitter for us, which is basically a second leadoff. We'll go ahead and get the clutch RBI base hit up the middle. Might think about sending Pete over to third or home, but not this time. We're going to get him back, and Davis actually slides into second in the confusion. And now we got 2 in scoring position for our leadoff hitter now, Lee Oliver Peguero. Hitting really good now as he's cracked the starting lineup here, even against righties. As we wanted to go ahead and let him walk his way over to first. So now we have bases juiced. And Brian Reynolds, who we were just talking about, being clutch with the bat. Can he do it here again as we watch the first 2 inconsistent calls there and then chop a sinker on the ground? I mean, the way he just called that 12-6, that probably would have been strike 2 anyway. It'll be an easy play over to first, and we'll have to just settle with a 2-run lead. We're going to stay with the bats here in the top of the third, looking to get a little bit more as Pete Alonso will go ahead and get the inning started with a rocket shot back at the pitcher's head, base hit. This will bring up Anthony Santander now with the bases clear. Can we go ahead and get us a couple more runs here? He is responsible for a lot of our RBIs here on this team, and a 2-run shot would be beautiful. However, we get a 2-run out instead, as that ground ball was gloved by the first baseman, Locklear, making the play himself, 3-6-3, and then Julian Cortez, with nobody left on base, will just have a chance to go ahead and smack this to left. Base hit for the Rook. Continue that great Rookie of the Year candidacy. Hopefully it continues here through the second half of the season. Now the All-Star weekend is gone and done. We got to hope this team stays on fire, can get some of its playoff attention back to it. As O'Neal Cruz will be up, runner at first base, chops this one down the line. That's going to be called a fair ball. It's going to get to the gap. It's going to go all the way to the wall, but Cortez only has 20 speed, so his big behind will have to stay right there at third. Unable to score off that one. It is the 19th double for Cruz. But at least it puts us a chance here with 2 guys on. And can Brian Hayes a chance to go ahead and score both? Can he get back that clutch bat that he once had for us at the beginning? As that ball will go nowhere. Zach closing in on 50 pitches already. Hasn't even cleared 3 innings. As that's going to be a cutter left over the plate. Gets down for a base hit over the shortstop's head. And that'll score not 1, but 2 runs across the plate. It's a 2 RBI base hits. And Hayes is showing that he still has the clutch bat still left in him. As that goes in and boosts the lead up to 4-0 right before Pete ends the inning off of this fly ball. Ooh, watch out for the seats. Giving his body up to make that play. And it'll go back now to the Cardinals offense here, down 4-0. And Paul is still looking strong as we get a bunt attempt here, trying to get on base by any means. And it's not going to work. Jonathan Class is up next. And the bottom of the rotation, he's going to get a base hit here. I said rotation, but you know I meant lineup. Got 90 speed over there to watch out for. So got to make sure he doesn't try to take off here for second. So we're going to have to keep eyes on him as there he goes. He's on the run. Pops up. Davis down the line will not make the play. I mean, that's what 90 speed does, though. I mean, especially at 90 speed and 82 steals. So he's getting a great jump, 2 every time. And it didn't even matter as Bryce will take this one deep out the right field. And it'll wrap around the foul pole. Gone. 2-run home run for Bryce Terang. His 5th of the season. And the Cardinals are trying to answer back a little bit, getting some of those runs back from the top half to keep it to a 2-score lead. Maybe worried a little bit too much about the speed out there at second base. So, we kind of gave it up a little bit there. And we'll have to hope that Paul can go ahead and keep his momentum going, as he was pitching good through the first about 2 1/3 here. As Carlson will foul this one away, trying to throw that slider right down the middle and give up yet another one. Chops this one on the ground to Peguero. He'll go to make the easy play over to first, though. And maybe that'll be what Paul needs to go to calm himself down. 0-2 here to Brendan Donovan. Chops this one over to Cruz. He'll have an easy play to make over to first, and he'll make it. Glad we ain't seen no errors either from Cruz. He's notorious for them things. But here we go, top of the 4th. 1 out in the inning already. And that's a liner right back at the pitcher. He luckily dove out of the way just in time. The Oliver singling up the middle, trying to take out the pitcher with him, trying to get some frustration out on him for the first out. And Zach here is seeing a workload, man. 8 hits already, 4 earned runs, and he's only pitched 3 in the third. How much worse can it get? What we're about to find out here is a steal attempt will be successful down at second base. The throw is going to be just late. Reynolds, unfortunately, taking strike 3 there. But it'll leave up Pete Alonso here with a chance with runner in scoring position to extend this lead even farther. The 2-2 count. Liner going past third base. We had the steal attempt on 2. I don't know how it hit Lee Oliver in his face, but luckily he was able to dodge that as that thing was on a rope. And the third baseman was not there to make the play because of the steal attempt. We go back up 5-2. And Santander off the solo home run last time. Can he get a 2-run shot here? That's a circle change in the zone as it'll be foul. Maybe if he waits back on it a little bit more, could probably take that one out the yard here. But instead, we'll get a liner right here to second base, and he will make the play himself. Not before Pete Alonso gets the RBI we need to give him a 3-run lead back to Sneed. And let's not start this. We've seen inconsistent starts before. Today, we need a good one. So if we can get this at 2 earned runs, that would be great, Paul. Next up, they have Jordan Diaz. 0 for 1 on the day. Lines this one past the third baseman. Hayes probably could have dove for that one. Instead, chose to just kind of let it go by. So maybe bad decision making there. We'll put runners at first and second. No outs. So it's getting even more dangerous, but we're getting closer to the bottom of the lineup, getting away from dangerous bats. As Locklear grounds this one over to Lee Oliver, who will make the play at second. Throw over to first will not be in time. We'll just have to take the fielder's choice there, but at least it still sets up a double play potential here. And that's why you go to second instead of first. Bringing up Pereira, who is batting over 300 with runners in scoring position. So a very dangerous clutch bat here at the bottom. 2, a surprising spot to have him at 7. But we get the strikeout we need off the slider. Getting him to chase out of the zone in just his 4th K of the day. Sneed's not really bringing in the strikeout stuff, but he is bringing the out pitches here. As Pereira will make the play over here to first, and we'll get out of the inning, giving up no runs there. And we'll actually jump all the way to the bottom of the 7th. Paul still in the game at this point. He's really calmed down at this point. Only 80 pitches into the game, so he's got this pitch count under control too as well. You can see the standings down below. We're a half game out of the wild card standings, out of that 3 seed for the wild card spot, the 6th seed, I guess you could say technically. So we have some work to do here, and a win here will be huge today to fix it. Nice glove work over at second, but not going to get the speedy runner up the baseline there at first. So we're going to keep him in check here. Lee Oliver's going to have to make the play yet again. Turns his body, gets one, back over to second, yet again being too late. The Cardinals got a lot of speed. That is one thing I'm noticing here. A lot of speed. We got a steal attempt here, and we're just going to kind of casually let him just get into second base. Not paying attention there maybe by Henry. But what does it matter if we get this final out that we need? Slider upstairs is taken. Great backdoor slider, and that is 7 strong innings there from Paul. And we'll go top of the 8th now, still up 5-2. So our offense has been shut down too as well since back in the 4th. We're going to look to see if we can get a little bit more run insurance here. Julian Cortez lines one deep. That ball is gone. Solo shot for the rookie, trying to keep pace with Santander. He says, "You're not getting too far away from me. Give me home run number 24. It would have been better if it was 23. But we'll still take the home run even if there's no bars. Set off the cannonballs." And how much more offense can this team get? They got Taijuan Walker in the ball game now, as that's going to be a line base hit right past him. Only 1 out in the inning so far. So a ball on the ground here could be a double play, or it could be a base hit out to left field. Thought for a second, if it was another slow roll to the corner, that could easily be a triple with the way that Pete's speed be working. So Henry Davis will come up with 2 guys on. Got great speed at first base, so a ball in the gap could score 2 and get us up 8-2 here if he can do it. But instead, he'll strike out and leave it up to Baguero here with the 0-1 count, chopping this on the ground. Third baseman will go ahead and make the easy play over to first. And they'll get out of this inning, man, with still 6-2 lead here. Giving it back to Paul. Trying to look what kind of reads my mans can make here today. Bottom of the 8th. No outs. Here's just going to be a pop fly up the center field. And Pete will go ahead and set it underneath it. Up next, we got Brennan Donovan at the plate here. We're going to see how much exactly we can get here out of Paul. Here's just going to be a deep fly ball, and thankful to Pete's speed, we're able to go ahead and reel that one in. It looks like we might be able to make it 8 strong innings of work if we can get through just one more batter here. And that last batter is going to be Nolan Gorman for us. If we can just get him settled down. This is going to be a chopper on the ground as Oliver tries to dive for it. Not going to make the play. Trying to do what he can for his pitcher there. But, I mean, we'll go ahead and take it, though. 7 2/3. We'll just bring in Matt Strom to get this last final out for us. Been a very good lefty for us. He's been actually pitching righties very well. Comparatively to, you know, like league average and everything. So I gotta say he's been one of our best additions here. Really good bullpen arm that we trust outside of our setup, man. So he gets a majority of these like clutch situations here, which could set up a save potentially for us if a run were to come around. With Jordan Diaz at the plate, he'll swing through the 4-seamer upstairs, and I told you he's pitching to those righties greatly. As we'll go to the 9th inning here to go up against Dylan Tate, looking to just try to keep this a 4-run lead and not allow us to grow this any further. As he's able to get the first 2 down in the inning and go right up against Anthony Santander, 1 for 4 on the day. His only hit being that solo home run earlier. And he's looking to make it a 2-hit day if possible. Chops this one on the ground, going to his left or his right. That's going to be a throw over to first, and it's an error. Shift was on there. I think he's at regular play depth. He's probably making the play great. But since he's having to dive away from the first base bag, get up and recover himself, that ended up leading to an error, which leads to a walk of Julian Cortez, leading to O'Neal Cruz, who is 3 for 4 on the day, a double and 2 singles. He scored 2 times already today. Can he get some RBIs? Listen on that stat sheet as well. That's going to be a slider upstairs. That's going to go way back into right field, and it will be gloved in on the warning track just a little bit before it, so not able to get any extra runs there, but a little late in the excitement. Ain't nothing wrong with it unless, of course, it's happening to us, as that ball will escape the wall. Just barely creaking over probably by a couple of centimeters. It's Tyler Locklear getting his 14th home run of the season, and it ends up making this a 6-3 ball game. Just did something with a pitch there, really close in on the hands, pulled it all the way to the seats. And Strong, who has been pretty strong for us, gives up a home run. We'll have to see if he can go ahead and clear his way out of this, or will we have to go to Jose Leclerc to go ahead and get this final save. As it is 8-9, though, that he would have to face to go in and close this one out. So the 2 easiest batters you would think statistically is this going to be a bloop single right in front of Pete Crow Armstrong for a base hit. Now Jonathan Class is up next. You know, they got a ton of speed down here at the bottom of the roster, or bottom of the lineup. The 8 and 9 hitters both in the 90s. So now we have to watch over there to make sure he's not stealing. But we do have a lefty, thankfully. We actually end up getting both of them on base via walk. And now a double steal could really be deadly here. This is going to be a chopper right back at Strom, who's going to go ahead and play it, but they're not going to make the play. Kind of confused. Lee Oliver backed off thinking that Strom had called it. Strom took a hit to the face there and ends up with a concussion. So maybe he did and he just forgot. As we actually have to put in Jose Leclerc here now. I think I would have put him in regardless. But bases are loaded here and only 1 out. So a ground ball could be a double play, but 1 pitch in and Jose is already tired, as we've used him a lot here recently. That's the ball is going to squeeze into the outfield. 1 runner is going to score. Reynolds' throw will be up the line, and the second runner is going to come around. That's why you have speed at the bottom of the lineup, so you can do things like that. And a base hit that could have only been 1 RBI turns into 2 and makes this a 6-5 ball game now, as that's going to be a liner to Hayes to get out number 2, thankfully. As this game is getting closer, the winning run is at first base. Tying run is only 180 feet away, and it's up to Nolan Gorman. With an 0-2 count, he'll watch the 4-seamer in on the hands. We just need 1 more strike. If we can get it chopped on the ground, Cruz, he's got a chance to make the play. The throw goes to first base, and they got him. And that's victory number 1 here in game 1. It came down to be a lot closer than it should have been. At one point, it was 6-2. We ended up winning it 6-5. Thanks to 3 runs coming around here in this 9th inning. Almost blew this one late. The bullpen almost did it to us again. But thankfully, Pauls gets out of here with his 8th win on the season. 7 2/3 innings of work. Zach Eflin gets the loss, only going 4 innings, giving up 5 earned, 9 hits. And Julian Cortez getting player of the game here today with his 2-hit performance. O'Neal, I think, probably should have got it, though, with his 3-hit performance. Brian Hayes had 2 hits as well, 2 with Pete Alonso. Santander and Cortez both hit homers to keep things moving. Pete ends up getting his 10th stolen base of the year. And Paul, 2 earned, 6 Ks, 8 hits. Matt Strom gets 2 outs, 3 hits, a walk. All the earned runs were in charge to him. And Leclerc gets his 26th save of the season, not having a single thing charged to him. But going into game 2, I wanted to go ahead and look at our home run leader, the guy that I probably hit the most home runs with in this series, Anthony Santander, as he's going to go ahead and start this game off early with a base hit. Okay. Runner's not going to test it to go to the plate, but it will set up bases loaded here as we're in game 2. Matthew Liberatore on the mound here for the Cardinals. And with that win yesterday, that pulls us within 1 game of St. Louis here for the division lead. And that's going to be a ball gets into the outfield. The throw's going to have to come in here a little late. They're going to the plate instead of second. They probably would have had me in second base, though. I thought that ball was going to get caught, so I tried to get back early, and instead it booped down. This is going to be a chopper that gets over to shortstop. The throw will go to second, over to first base. Not going to be in time, so no double play to end it. We get our second run across, too, as well. And then O'Neal Cruz will chop this one on the ground right over to short. He'll make the easy play, so we'll only be getting out of here with a 2-0 lead. But Santander's been having a great season with us. I mean, batting .247, 26 home runs. That's all I could have asked for. As we get a couple more RBIs here, but we still are down 4-5 now as we jumped ahead to the 7th. But he's had a very good season with us. I only expected around 250, 260, but I wanted really to have a guy that could hit 30 to 40 home runs and tack in maybe about 100 RBIs. So I'm glad we went and got him, put him in our 4 spots, and he's been doing great in his cleanup role, hitting behind Pete Alonso to add that extra power bat and that extra fear, especially on this left side of the plate where we've seen a lot more greatness happen. Is they are afraid of him too, of the power, so they go ahead and walk him over to first to face Julian Cortez. With runners now at first and second here, 1 out. This is going to be a chopper right back up the middle. That's going to go ahead and squeeze through, and it's a slow enough roll that we're going to test it at home. The throw is going to come in and not be in time. Sliding ahead of the tag, I think that might have been Alonso, possibly. It's either Alonso or Brian Reynolds, but one of them two just scored. And then we have a chopper right here. This will get into the outfield as well. And we have the lead back now. Lee Oliver Peguero getting a base hit into the outfield. And it gets bigger as Cruz and Davis hit RBIs. It's 9-5 now here as we're in the top of the 8th. Coming back up an inning later here with Anthony Santander. Tawan Rocker is on the mound now for the Cardinals. And he's looking to keep this just a 4-run game so they can try to get some offense in the bottom of the 8th and 9th. But we're not here to hear all that. We need more hits, as that's going to get down in the outfield for a double. We're going to make it 2. Can we make it 3? Can we make it a triple? Throw will come in kind of quick. It'll at least be a 2-hit day. End it off with a nice 2-bag hit. His 12th of the season. Has more homers than doubles, which I feel like could be kind of crazy. But then again, when you don't have that much speed, I guess it's hard to hit doubles. Now, that would unfortunately be the last thing that we do end up seeing, though. That you saw the fly ball there. Couldn't really get out. Looks like they get an RBI here late in the game to make it 9-6. So we end up walking out of it with the dub with that exact score there. Lucas Sims getting the win today. Going and ending in 2/3. 17 hits as a team. Reynolds with 3 hits. Alonso, Anthony with 2. Julian with 3. O'Neal and Pete with 2. Nobody having an 0 for day. And Reynolds getting his 16th home run of the season, up to 55 RBIs now in the 2 spot, which is great. Cortez is up to 62. And Jackson Wolf, 5 1/3, 5 earned. Was not a good start at all. We're just glad that the bullpen actually held up today. Look at Jonathan Loizaga trying to get that ERA down a little bit. But that win was very important for us to get because now we are tied with the Cardinals for first place. See, we're batting .370 in the series with 11 earned runs already up to this point. We're looking to have another big day, and why not go look at one of our biggest bats and Brian Reynolds after hitting a home run in yesterday's game. Batting .309 now in the season, still above 300 here. It's getting later and later, and gets that base hit to go ahead and get further and further from that 200 average. Now, he's somebody that's having a big breakout year. You look at his numbers, he's hitting career highs all across the board. He's never really been this good. I've normally expected around 280, 270 from him. But to hit 300 here at the 2 spot too as well has been very good for when Pete and Anthony want to actually hit the ball, getting them some RBIs, and that's why their RBI totals are so high. Now here, this is when I finally noticed. I was like, okay, we're back up in the second. Base is juiced here, and that's going to be a ball that gets down in the gap. It's going to hit up against the wall. We're going to score 2 easily. The third run is rounding third base. The throw's going to have to come into the plate and not be in time. A bases clearing triple for Brian, or double for Brian Reynolds. His 20th of the season. Now, that is not what I noticed, though. What I noticed was how the pitcher was extremely tired. So I looked at the name. I don't know if you guys noticed that. It's Matthew Liberatore. The same pitcher that just pitched yesterday started today's game for whatever reason. I don't know if there was an injury. I don't know if somebody got hurt on their way to the ballpark and they just decided to let him start to get a couple innings. But that was not a good idea, as we jumped on him early. And then after that, they kind of put the bullpen in to quiet us down. As you can see, it's still 7-2 here in the 8th inning. But as y'all saw, by that 2nd inning, we were already at 5 runs on the board. And we're looking very, very strong, as that's going to be a ground ball out over to third base. At least both runners move up, so no double play. But yeah, I don't know what happened. We ended up winning this one. It looks like 8-2 off of a Santander home run. They're late. But they put in Matthew Liberatore again after pitching yesterday's game. And then put in the same string of relievers too as well. It was really weird. They put in Dylan Tate. I forgot some of their names already. But like basically put in all their big name relievers yet again after freshly playing yesterday. It was just really weird. But shout out to Pete with a 3-hit day, finally for once, getting his average well above 200, or just barely above 200, even going 3 for 5. Santander getting homer in 27, while Cortez right behind him at 25, and Jarrett Jones an 8-inning, 2 earned run game there as we go ahead and complete the series sweep against St. Louis. As we do want to still go ahead and get to the end of July, so we can see what the ratings are on our players. So we'll simulate this Brewers series. Basically, it's a little quick. I think it's a 3-gamer, it might be a 4-gamer. As we decided not to do anything at the trade deadline, the Twins, however, will trade and get Nico Hoerner from the Cubs, giving up 2 decent prospects there back in return. And at a 60-52 record, we ended up going on a 4-game winning streak, winning the first game 2-0, losing the second game before coming to finally look at our draft picks, and we done did it again. I love when I open the screen and see nothing but blues and greens. 92 potential on Tom, 93 on Mike. Let's just go ahead and jump straight into the players one by one. So we have Tom Jew here coming in at a 68 overall at 18 years old. Already ready to play basically at the AA level. He's got A potential with that 92. He's going to come in with the 4-seam slider, 2-seam changeup and splitter, and some pretty good K per 9 or per 9s there across the board. We're going to go right to Mike Gallegos to see who's the next best person we got. Now at 22 years old, he'll have less time to develop. Coming in with a lower overall at 64, but 93 potential, so a higher ceiling slightly. Came in with great per 9s. We just got to work on that hit per 9, and we'll be in a good spot. Now David Neves, 79 potential, coming in at a 57 overall, so I'm not sure what that injury affected, but it does look like his stamina is way lower at 67, so it could end up potentially being another long relief starter that we drafted. As you can see, though, across the board past stats, we got our position players. Kyle McCoy, 72 potential, 74 overall. So coming in higher than potential means that he could be MLB ready. He's got the contact for it, power versus left for it. Vision is decent, but his defense is actually really good. He doesn't have arm strength, so he could be a left fielder, but could come in with some decent defense, good steal rating, good speed rating. Diego Nunez at shortstop, coming in with a 79 potential, 70 overall. Good contacts immediately off the board, good vision, good fielding ability, just not good arms. So probably maybe more of a second baseman there for us. Tamar Johnson, better watch out. His job could be at risk here with Diego Nunez. Already looking like he could be MLB ready too as well at 21. We got Pedro Garcia at third base, kind of the same potential there, but starting way lower at 59. So he's definitely going to need development, but he comes in with decent contact, vision. He just has no fielding or speed, unlike the others. Then we got Willie Smith, another shortstop. He's at 74 potential, 62 overall. Got a lot more ways to go, but it looks like a lot more well-rounded defensively to where he could actually play some shortstop, possibly third base. And then last but not least, another blue here, Ernest Munoz, 88 on his potential. So 3 starting pitchers with blue potential here. 53 overall though, so he is the worst. At 18 years old though, 97 stamina immediately caught my eyes off the back. Well, of course I have to work on the walk per 9 at 21, the hits per 9 at 33. But 97 stamina's got to give you something to be excited about. He's going to eat up innings if he can actually reach his potential and be a decent starter for us. So only time will tell with that one how bad he gets or how good he gets. But let's go ahead and take a look at the other teams in the division. You have the Chicago Cubs here, all greens with the yellow there, but they were able to sign up all their players. Went completely pitcher heavy, even more than we did, drafting all pitchers, 4 relievers, and then finally getting a third baseman there late in the round, but not a single one being really good. The Reds, 2 greens and 2 yellows with 2 that they didn't sign back, but also going pitcher heavy, only getting 1 position player, at least it being one of the ones that they signed, with Evan Sanchez there. But Martin Blanco was somebody that we were looking at possibly getting to in our draft, which is crazy, but glad we didn't. 79 potential, 63 overall. Per nines look like they're in a solid spot. 74 stamina isn't terrible. The Brewers, who took Yusniel Garcia, who I wanted, 86 overall potential on his potential, 65 overall. Great contact left already, good durability, good speed, but has a lot to work on though. The rest of his contact, his vision, and for sure his fielding, if he's ever going to be more than just a DH. So a lot of fielding problems there with him. But outside of that, everybody else was green with the yellow there down at the bottom, as they also went pretty pitcher heavy too. A lot of people draft a lot of relievers. Maybe I need to take that strategy more. I'll be taking like main positions pretty much for the most part. I don't really draft a whole lot of relief pitchers, but maybe we do need to start getting younger at that spot. And then we have Jim Pinto here, a closer for the Cardinals. Actually, this is pretty good. B potential, 63 overall. He ends up with 88, so they're only good prospect. And then last but not least, we have to look at some of our other starters that we were considering with that first pick. Daisuke Kai ended up with 69 overall, a potential player with some pretty good ratings across the board. 35 on his home run per nine is pretty bad. Chris Prado ends up being 91 potential, 60 overall. His area of weakness is the hits per nine and pitching clutch, which I think takes over for hits per nine when runners are at scoring position. So you got to upgrade that a little bit. You got Francisco Escobar, 64 overall, B potential. Lefty, his problem ends up being walks per nine, pitching clutch, control. All those on the low end, walks, strikeouts per nine too as well. And then Preston Drake ends up being only at 82 potential, which is kind of depressing. But 69 overall, great hitter, it looks like across the board. His vision needs a little bit more work, and he has absolutely no defense or speed. So definitely we need to work on that. And then we have Jeff Curry, who are actually really split the second deciding between. I'm glad we didn't get that 26 hit per nine though, but 94 stamina is crazy. Only B potential though, we ended up getting somebody with A, so I can't be completely mad at it. And last but not least here, Michael Suzuki, who I was considering with that first overall pick as well, but didn't end up deciding to get him and thought we could wait till our second first round pick. He's MLB ready. Good fielding, good contact, good power. Vision on the lower end, but still can work with that. He would have been MLB ready to come in and play. So that'll basically do it and wrap it up for draft season and postseason, or not postseason, but All-Star weekend. Hope you guys are enjoying the series so far. If you guys are, leave a like on your way out. Man, don't forget to subscribe if you're brand new to the family, and comment how you guys are feeling about the series. We end up being 60-53, retaking our top spot in the division, and the Brewers are right there behind too as well. So this last game could be very important for us. Right now, they're leading the series 2-1, so it'll be up to Jackson Wolf to see if we can get this dub. So that might be a game we focus on in the next video and really slow the pace of things down here, as we are in August, September, the last 2 months, to see where we're going to be at. We'll also take a look at some minor league gameplay too as well. You know, we haven't checked on them much this season, so let's see how the young guys are doing. But I'll catch you guys in the next video. It's been your boy, SmooveGotGame, aka GM Smooth, aka SGG, the king of games, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'm going for the day. Later.